Should the Cardinals make a quarterback change? We'll answer that question and more on today's mailbag. You're Locked On Louisville.
You are Locked On Louisville, your daily podcast on the Louisville Cardinals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Card Nation, what's going on, everyone? Welcome into this Thursday edition of the Locked On Louisville podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Pence. This is my 6th year covering U of L, 4th year hosting this show, and I want to take the time to thank you all so much for making us your first listen of the day. Just a reminder, Locked On Louisville, free and available on all streaming services, 5 days a week, your team every day. Don't forget to leave a comment in the YouTube section below, because as you all know, that's a great way to help the show continue to grow. It is much appreciated. Bye week for the Louisville football team. We are going to have 2 mailbags. First one on Thursday is football dedicated, and what better way to answer your all's pressing football questions to bring my guy back into the studio, former Louisville football recruiting assistant Grant Mulligan, G Money. He's back, Card Nation. What's up, G?
What's going on, guys? It's great to be back.
It is good to be back. And look, there are some pressing questions. Look, I got 7 people that submitted the same question that we are going to answer in the first segment. That's whether or not it's time for a quarterback change. Should Jeff Brom look elsewhere than Miller Moss for the go-to guy at the QB position? We'll take a look at the rushing attack moving forward, the top issue with the offense, and we will end the show with our signature buy-sell segment. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today to get started. Grant, following the Virginia loss, right, Miller Moss had some really high highs in that game, but he also had some unbelievably, unacceptably low lows, which unfortunately has kind of summed up this season. You get the highs and the lows in almost every game that you've seen Miller Moss thus far, thus prompting this question that was proposed 7 times in the weekly mailbag. And basically, paraphrasing all of them together, is it time and should Louisville make a quarterback change and go to either Brady Allen or Deuce Adams? I feel pretty strongly about this. I believe you do as well. I'll let you start out.
It is not worth entertaining the thought of doing it. Brom does not change quarterbacks. I mean, we were doing this year 1 of Brom when we had Jack Plummer, and he was very clearly limited in a plethora of ways. Every single week, win or lose, when are we going to change quarterbacks? When are we going to change quarterbacks? When are we going to change quarterbacks? And we never did. That is not going to change. And I will hold on to that until I'm proved otherwise. More to this point, the quarterbacks on this roster outside of Miller Moss have thrown a combined 17 passes at the college level. Brady Allen has 13 of them. Deuce Adams has 4, which in itself is a flaw in our roster building. This is something that we've struggled with for years. When you go and buy transfer rental, if your transfer rental doesn't work out and you have nobody else in the roster who has any form of experience, you have no one to fall back on who has any form of proven experience or some baseline expectation of what play can be. So, for better or worse, Brom doesn't change quarterbacks. We don't have a trusted, viable alternate option. Anything to sub them out at this point would be a dart throw. And again, we are a 1-loss team. Wins and losses is the thing that matter the most. And I know, the first 3 were softballs. Changing a quarterback at 5-1 is not going to happen.
4-1.
4-1. I apologize. I got
1 week. Predict the victory over Miami, Grant?
No. We'll get into that later. But no.
Yeah.
4-1. I apologize. I was 1 week
Also,
ahead.
Don't forget this, Grant. I mean, we can have a conversation a totally different day about development, internal development with these options, and there is a conversation that we have to have there, but is it too early in the Brom era? Not sure specifically. In Deuce Adams' case, it might be. He's only a redshirt freshman. But when the offense is struggling, when things are going south, the fan base's favorite player is the backup quarterback, for better or for worse. And I think that a lot of the fan base's rebuttal, that portion that believes that another quarterback should be entertained, is, well, why not throw it out there? It couldn't be worse. And my answer is 1,000% it could be. Miller Moss this season, let's take a look at what he's done. This season, he's completed 67% of his passes, about 1,400 yards, 1,350. 7 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Has it been great? No. Has it been atrociously bad? Also, no. Like, we are seeing some good moments. It's that the bad is sort of outweighing the good in some sense, or it's at least more, it's being highlighted more, right? That interception completely takes over everything he did in the first half of that game against Virginia. But it would be a completely different story, G-Money, if this was all that was wrong. If this was a quarterback-specific issue, let's discuss then. But there's 2 things. Number 1, offensive line play has been #not good. Getting Trevonte Sylvester back, who actually graded out pretty decently last week, I think it's going to help pass pro. But still, the rest of the O-line has not been good. So any quarterback on this roster is going to struggle. Number 2, you're one-dimensional. You've had some guys banged up in that running back room. Isaac, Duke, Keywan, they've all been hurt. They've all had to miss some time. Not having a fully healthy running back room hurts. And not to mention, not getting a ton of push up front with that line. So when your offense is one-dimensional and you're not able to run the football and teams are just zoning in on the pass because that's all you can do, and Miller Moss has to feel like he has to play hero ball, you see the thing where it'd be different if you had a good line and your rushing attack was good. And it was sort of like 2023 where it was very clear that the quarterback play alone was holding this team back. Sure, let's have a conversation then. That's not the problem here, Grant. I know that the quarterback gets low-hanging fruit to easily blame the QB, and Miller hasn't been perfect at all. But I don't think they understand, or a good portion of the fan base understands, that the grass isn't always greener. A change doesn't always mean that good things are going to happen.
For those who say it can't be any worse to switch off,
it can very certainly be worse.
I want to ask you this genuine question. Would you rather your quarterback options right now be Zach Calzada or Cutter Boley?
I was told one of those guys was going to be a Heisman candidate.
I was told the same, but that's crazy. Well, on the UK quarterback topic, Miller Moss has crazy Will Levis brain. That's I've sent that
Explain
text.
What you mean?
Huh?
Explain what you mean.
I
know the interception was pretty much like Will Levis, but what do you mean by the Will Levis brain?
I think that he's so when things start to break down, rather than make a conservative decision and either take the sack or throw the ball out of bounds or try to take a check down, he flings it or he tries to do something heroic.
Is that not 95% of his problem right now?
I think so. I think it's Levis brain.
He has not been good at improvising. Like
no,
when he's operating on script and within the flow of the offense, he's been great. Look at the first half against Virginia. It's when the plays break down and the pass rush gets home and he's like, well, shit. Let me scramble and try to throw the ball when I'm falling down.
This is what he was on tape. He was a script operator. He was that for Lincoln Riley, and when things went bad, and that's why they went away from him at USC. He is really good at operating through the flow of the offense.
I agree.
But when it doesn't work out, there's just something within him that says chuck it or try to be a hero, and those moments don't work for him. He does not have the physical tools to make that work. Like he has Will Levis brain without Will Levis physical tools to bail him out.
If Brom can instill one, I guess, line of thinking with Miller, is that when things go south, do 2 things. A, throw the ball away. That was my main gripe with Jack Plummer, is he took way too many coverage sacks. And Tyler did this really well. He threw the ball away when he needed to. Probably threw the ball away maybe more than he should have, but hey, I'd rather it be that way than the other way around. Number 2, how many times have you seen him have the space to get a couple yards on a scramble? And look, even though that might not seem like much, 2nd and 7 is better than 2nd and 18. And it adds up. And it's just a matter of being able to – I guess I owe a little bit of apology to Jack Plummer because I guess I overlooked how tough it might be to be a game manager. And I know that Brom bit into the upside, right? Is he wanted that upside with Miller Moss. What comes with that is the drawbacks of him trying to force the issue. And if going into the bye week, I know a quarterback kind of is what he is at this point in his career, do what you can to get him to change the way that he, I guess, reads the defense in that regard when things go south and makes those, quicker decisions. And ultimately, I think he's going to be much more effective. Now, one of the things that I think has to be better to help him out is the rushing attack. And there is a question about the rushing attack and whether or not it's going to improve substantially. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process even smoother. Join the free Trademaster program today and score some serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use the promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. And while I have you, the Cardinals are on bye, but unfortunately, FanDuel's spread hasn't really been good for Jeff Brom's team this year. They are 1-4 against the spread. But overall, if you're new, you can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. For me, the versatility is the name of the game. You have so many different ways to play. I do like to operate with a spread parlay. Sometimes I'll go with money line if it's NFL. Same game parlays with great player props and much more. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So really, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com today to download the FanDuel app and get started. Thank you all so much for making us your first listen of the day. Just a reminder, Locked On Louisville, free and available on all streaming services 5 days a week. Your team every day. G-Money, Grant Mulligan joining us for this bye week. First weekly mailbag edition of the show. We will have a basketball weekly mailbag airing on Friday, but Grant, of course, with his former Louisville football recruiting assistant background, he knows all about the football side of things. Great basketball mind, too, but nonetheless, great football mind. Grant, let's get into the teased question that we talked about before the break, and that is, what do you think about the rushing attack? How much will it improve with guys getting healthy alone? Not really about the offensive line specifically, but with Isaac, Duke, and Keywan getting healthy, what do you think that looks like in terms of improving this attack?
The strength of this roster, or as it was supposed to be, as the roster was designed coming into this year, was the depth at running back and the talent at the running back position. And it has been thoroughly decimated, which has really put a hindrance. For me, it's a little hard to judge where we've been offensively so far this year because the plan and the strength of this roster was built around the run game. If one guy went down, it wasn't going to be that much of a problem because of the two additional guys he had in that three-headed attack, but all three of them have dealt with injury issues. I'm not a big fan of the early bye most of the time, but in Louisville's case, in the strength of this roster, they need it badly to get the health of Isaac Brown, to get Duke Watson's gotten the worst of it. We've hardly seen him this year. He hasn't gotten nearly as much work as I thought or had hoped because of health. Getting the 1-2 punch is critical to get back, and getting Keywan as a change of pace. It's funny you talk about a change of pace guy being a speed guy in most offenses, but our change of pace guy is a tough power runner. But all three of those guys not being at 100% has hamstrung the offense in terms of what we're able to do on that side of the ball. Like I said, a lot of the issues that we're having with Miller and with the passing game is that defenses don't have to game plan as much for an extremely dynamic rushing attack that we should be able to field because of the guys that we have. Whereas now we have to go pass game because we're resorted, no disrespect to anybody, but walk-on running backs playing meaningful snaps. We're in a tough position there. And getting these three guys back healthy, hopefully the bye week rest can get them there. But I think that getting those bodies back in the room will not just help the run game, but the quick passing game that turns into explosive passing game as well.
I don't disagree there. What do you think about I think you echoed a lot of what I think. So I'll kind of leave it at that because it would be a lot of regurgitation. This can kind of go either way. I think that our answer will probably be similar here as well. What do you think the top issue is with this offense?
I avoided touching on it in the run game part of it because I think that it deserves its own topic, but the offensive line has been the biggest struggle. Take Miller Moss out of it. The offensive line has been the worst part of this offense, and that is something I'm genuinely surprised by just because on paper, the kind of guys we brought in through the portal, the amount of bodies with starting experience we've brought in through the portal, and we have not been able to field a consistent quality group. A lot of the time guys aren't on the same page. It isn't just losing individual assignments. Whenever we played the JMU game, they absolutely took advantage of lack of communication with their blitz game and overwhelming. They had free runners left, right, and center. So offensive line as a whole, it's not just affecting the run game. It's not just affecting the pass game. It is hamstringing our offense altogether. And when we have to become one-dimensional like we have been, the defensive line knows that they're not going to have to go run game or worry about Isaac Brown in the backfield if he's hurt. So they can just tee off on Miller Moss, which has exacerbated the issues he's already had. I think if we had a more consistent run game, more consistent protection up front, we would not be having a lot of these conversations around should we bench Miller Moss? We shouldn't. Not the point. But I think all of our offensive struggles start there.
It does. And I think Miller Moss throwing the ball 99 times in the past 2 games is a huge problem because I think the offensive line and the lack of a rushing attack is magnifying Miller's issues and weaknesses because, like I said, you're seeing them pop up more because, let's call it, he's got to play hero ball at times. And, he definitely feels that way. So when you're panicking like that and you feel like you got to do too much, you're going to kind of be more prone to making those errors. So I agree. I think that it stems with the offensive line. I even think that if they were better in terms of getting push up front, blocking for the run, and struggling with pass pro, like just the fact that you allow the team to run the ball at a decent level would alleviate some of these concerns. So we'll see what Louisville cooks up in the bye week heading into their toughest matchup of the season, what will be their toughest matchup regardless against Miami, who looks like the best team in the country. I'll go ahead and start off with this one. Predict the record for the rest of the season. Look, most people that follow this show, I think, would probably classify me as more pessimistic than optimistic. You definitely would because of how I crashed out with the Chargers. But I'm going to be optimistic here. I think that this team has the offensive talent to go toe-to-toe with pretty much everyone on the schedule. I'm going to predict 9-3. I think after the Miami game, I think your schedule is extremely winnable. You've got Boston College, Virginia Tech, California, which I think you should win all those games. Whether there's a trap, I'm not sure. But 9-3 gives you the cushion of losing one of the final 6 games. And like I said, I think that this team is going to get better and better as the season goes along, or at least I hope so. So I'm going to choose to be optimistic here. I'm going to say 9-3.
How shocking that I'm going to be the one that is slightly.
You're going to go 8-4.
More pessimistic. I have one more loss than you. I'm going 8-4.
I went back and forth with 8-4 as well.
8-4. So for me, I'm going losses. I think we lose to Miami. I think we lose to SMU, and I think we drop one of Clemson or Cal.
I was hoping you weren't about to say, because I thought you were going in chronological. I was like, please don't tell me you think we're losing to Kentucky.
No. I would never say such a thing. I wouldn't. For the fans. I don't care if we are.
Put that on a shirt. Put that on a shirt for the fans.
For the fans.
Grant Mulligan.
You should put that on a shirt because I don't care if this team was 0-11. For the fans, I would never put a loss to Kentucky on a record prediction ever. So I'm thinking again. I'm going 8-4 final record this year. It'd be the worst record in the Brom era. I think. Given the circumstances, given the injuries.
It'd be a disappointment.
But,
But, at this point, I can't blame you because 5 games so far, and I haven't felt great leaving any of them. So
Not a one. Not a one.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. But we don't go anywhere. We still got the famous buy-sell segment coming up in the final segment of the show. You're Locked On Louisville, covering your team every day. Card Nation, when it comes to changing the game, no one knows how to do that better than Mazda. Mazda crafts cards for those who do more than simply move. It delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. And before we get into the next segment, one of the tools I'll tell you that's made a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just with a new name. Here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7 around the clock. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline. Whether you're a solo operator, juggling everything, or part of a larger team, Quo makes it easy to stay responsive and professional. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started for free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That's QUO.com/lockedoncollege. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Let's get into the final segment on this Thursday edition of the bye week. Thanks for tuning in to this episode. And if you've made it this far, it's time for the famous buy-sell segment. Grant, I'm going to go first. Stadium Pulse is on 10 here. Miller Moss is currently having I would say, decent season. He's got 7 passing touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Buy or sell? By the end of the season, he will have eclipsed 20 passing touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions. He has
as in 10
games.
As in 10 interceptions total?
Total.
Like on the year?
20 interceptions or 20 touchdowns total, 10 interceptions total.
13 more touchdowns, 6 more interceptions. I wish he was on. I would love to buy that. I just wish he was on a better passing touchdown rate. And I'm gonna sell it by a hair. A hair. You know what's crazy is that when we started this year, this is so sad. We were talking about 30 touchdowns more.
I remember the episode quite fondly. I was a huge advocate for Mr. Moss.
And I was too. And it's sad that this is the point that we have reached, but I want to buy it, but at this point I have to sell it. Honestly, I buy the interceptions part. I can fully see him starting to turn that part around and not throw. I mean that's less than one, or let's see how many games remaining.
Basically, you can less than 10 interceptions. You have to you can throw 1 a game
and go 1 game without, which I think is totally.
But it's going to be a matter of, are there going to be multiple interception games? Which I'm going to buy this because it's clear that something has clicked in terms of this passing offense. He's played the 2 best opponents of the season to date, the past 2 weeks, and in those games he combined for 5 passing touchdowns. Miami could be rough, but I think after that, when you play Boston College, who gives up points, Virginia Tech, who gives up points, same with Cal. Kentucky hasn't really been good. SMU's defense has been not great. Clemson's defense is vulnerable. I think the opportunity is there to throw for some big numbers again, especially if the rushing attack isn't as effective as we hope. The interceptions part kind of worries me because I think as you continue to play better teams, the ball is going to be in harm's way more, I feel like, personally. So I'm going to buy it, but I'm more worried about the interceptions part.
That's interesting that you and I had concerns about the different part of it. No. That makes a great buy. Sal, great work, Dalton Pence. Good buy, sell.
Grant Mulligan.
All right, buy, sell. Ruben Bain has 5 sacks next week. I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Whoa.
That one was a joke for the fans.
Whoa.
Possible, though. My
Khalil Mack
actual
versus the Raiders vibes?
You said what?
Khalil Mack versus the Raiders vibes? Remember that Chargers game where he had 6 sacks?
I think he smells blood in the water now.
Who, Ruben?
Yes, Ruben. Yes.
I mean, I think
would.
If your buy sell would have been multiple sacks, I would have bought it.
I know. But for my real one, I'm going to go one with more optimism to it. And because we had a true breakout, he's had breakout before, but a defining performance by Chris Bell. And every real fan knows I'm a receivers guy. I have to do a Chris Bell related buy sell. So I'm going to say Chris Bell has at least 4 more games this season exceeding 100 receiving yards. That's over half of our remaining games.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye. Chris Bell is an NFL wide receiver.
He's a first-round NFL wide receiver right now.
Okay, I haven't said it on this show yet, but I have seen the progression each and every season, and I just needed to see it a couple times this season to get on that train. I'm there. I think that Chris Bell is going to dominate on pro day type atmospheres, combines, and the tape is right there too. I think Chris Bell, my buy sell was also going to be Chris Bell. I'll kind of combine them. Do you think he eclipses double-digit touchdowns this season?
On the season?
He's at 4 through 5 games.
I think he's awoken. I think that his time is now. His best games have come against our best opponents. Miller's looking his way early on.
Bro. Virginia had no answer.
No answer. And I hate that we lost for him alone.
Yeah.
He deserved that win.
He did.
Chris Bell deserved that win. And you know what? I'm going to give a special shout out to a friend of mine who also worked with the receivers coach Gunnar Brewer, the coach that recruited Chris Bell, the coach that I worked for there for 2 years.
Love Gunnar.
Loved him. Friend of all Louisville media. But Massimo Amici, got to give him a shout out. He is the one who found Chris Bell. As you all know, or if you followed recruiting or not, he used to be committed to shoot. I cannot believe I just blanked on that.
It's going to drive me nuts. I'm about to look it up. Keep talking.
You got to look it up. Hold on. Chris Bell 247. I hate that. I'm sorry to the fans that I just completely blanked out. Southern Miss. He used to be committed to Southern Miss.
Yes, he was. And even then, like signing day, I remember Mississippi State came calling like right towards signing day. And I'm like, dude, we got to keep this guy.
That we did. But when he had only group of 5 offers, he was a Southern Miss commit. Massimo Amici brought him to Gunnar Brewer and said that he was going to be a guy. And lo and behold, he ended up being a guy. He deserves his flowers along with everybody else who put in their time and effort with that team. But Chris Bell ended up being a guy, and he is fully awoken now. Double-digit touchdowns on the way.
I don't disagree. What do you have a second buy sell?
I do have a second buy sell.
Okay.
And it's also receiver related. That's right, fans. You're getting the full brunt of it. I'm going to say we have not seen Caullin Lacy's best yet. In fact, not just his best in a Louisville Cardinal uniform, but his career best. Buy or sell, Caullin Lacy over the back half of the season exceeds his previous career high of 156 receiving yards at some point over the next 7 regular season games.
I was really hoping you were going to go like single season receiving yards because I'm like, dude, there's no shot.
Single game. Single game.
What's his highest now?
156.
I know at Louisville he hit 90s. He's hit mid 90s 2 times this season.
That's
against
right.
Bowling Green and Pittsburgh. In 2024, I'm not even sure that he got close to that. 71 was his most. 156. It's going to take like one of those catch the ball at the 20-yard line and just beat a couple guys and you're off to the races. I want to buy this so badly, but I just feel like teams are zoning in on the Cardinals passing the football. I know that that's probably going to increase the attention to Chris Bell, so maybe it does open up opportunities. 156 is a lot of yards.
He did it once, albeit against lesser competition.
I'm going to sell it. I think, I'll tell you this. I think he eclipses the 100-yard mark, maybe multiple times. 156 it's a little bit too rich for me. I'm going to sell it.
He should have 100.
Think about it.
He's had 2 games where he should have been at 100.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I would have never
get there.
even thought of this before I saw the passing game take off the way it did with Chris Bell. When Chris Bell got 160 yards, I'm watching this, and I'm like, there are enough targets for this to happen.
And that's why I bought the Miller Moss stock props that we talked about. That's why I'm easily buying the Chris Bell stuff. But I imagine eventually the rushing attack is going to improve. Now, how much, I don't know, to where the Cardinals are going to try to still get the ground game going. Chris Bell is still going to get his targets. I mean, that leaves ample opportunity for Caullin. 156 is still a lot of yards. So I'm going to sell it. I do think he hits over 100. I think he's going to get his career high in a Louisville uniform in these final 7 regular season games, but I'm not sure that he's going to get 156. But
you have little faith.
I mean,
I hope this one, Cards fans. I believe.
I predicted 9-3, and you said 8-4, and you're saying ye of little faith.
Ye of little faith in the receiver.
Stand up and go ahead and take another seat, pal. Take a seat, pal. But no, it's always good to have G Money on, man. That is going to wrap up this Thursday weekly mailbag episode of the show. Everyone have a great day. Don't forget, we have the basketball weekly mailbag tomorrow, so get all your final thoughts in for Pat Kelsey's men's basketball team. We'll answer those tomorrow's show. Everyone have a great day.